everybody, this is Dear Mama Sal, and it's Wednesday morning already. Wow, it goes by quickly, doesn't it? Pretty morning. Let me see what it is here. Oop. So it's 59 American degrees, that is, and 15 Canadian. So again, a little bit cooler than normal, but again, I am even earlier than normal. I'm about, I'm nearly an hour earlier than normal. I don't know what happened this morning. I think I must have had a good night's sleep. Although I remember waking up a number of times, but I think the level of sleep that I had must have been better, because I actually felt quite rested, and I got up and got everything ready. I keep looking to see if I'm dressed, you know that feeling where, why am I so early? Did I forget something? Like getting dressed. So that's great. By the way, a really interesting thing, I did manage to get the accounts done last night. And I realized that maybe I'm the only one, but I really enjoy having a support group of you guys out there who I can put my challenges out to myself, and I've got witnesses. I can make myself accountable to you, as I did with doing the accounts. You know, I can fool myself a lot, but there's something about telling you guys, okay, this is what I need to do and I'm going to do it, that makes it stronger. And I noticed Happy Heart was quick to respond as well. She was going to write to a friend of hers that she's due to write to. So Happy Heart, if you've done it, let me know, and I'll give you a shout out here for, you know, achieving a goal. And if any others of you have been procrastinating and wants to challenge yourself, go right ahead. I'm just watching a car. So cute. It's a Range Rover, and I can't quite see what the dog is, but it's hanging out of the window, like seriously hanging out of the window. It's got both its front legs hanging out of the window, let's put it that way. It looks like a pretty stocky dog, so either it's a looks like it could be a pit bull, but it doesn't look like the sort of car that would be carrying a pit bull. It's a Range Rover, and I don't know why. That just, those two things don't seem to go together for me. So maybe it's oh well, who knows what it is, but it's a chunky looking dog. But it's loving its morning with its nose out of the window. Rats. It turned off. I can't find out what it is now. Oh well. Onward. Yesterday was a busy day at work, very busy for me. Mondays is always busy, but Mondays, month end and mid-month are twice as busy. And what I've learned is you just have to say, if I do nothing else today, I'm going to do X, and just concentrate on it. I'm very lucky in that. I don't have somebody watching over me the whole time. My job is my job, and people trust me to do it, if you get my drift. I don't have somebody checking to see if I've done this or done that or whatever. They trust me to do my job, and because of that I do it. A lot to be said for that. Anyway, but what I found is, now that I've dropped down to 4 days a week instead of 5, I really have to be very strict with myself as to the amount of time I can give each part of my job, knowing that I will never be able to finish it. Which for somebody like myself is very, very difficult. You know, I will never be up to date, because it's impossible to do with only 4 days a week and one person. So the trick is that you really have to work on the best possible use of your time, and then work that in segments. And I think that's something that works really well in life as well. I have been really bad, for example, about exercising ever since I pulled this muscle in my back, and I understand that. And no, I didn't do it exercising. As far as I know, maybe I did it pulling the total gym out. I don't know, it's possible. Ooh, good point. Glad you mentioned that. Really weird, yeah. Have to have a think about that. So, but I have not been doing my exercise, and I'm putting on even more weight, and I don't understand it because I seem to eat really well and then eat really badly. I wonder if anybody else does that. In other words, I will really eat well during the day. You know, if I look at today's, what I brought with me today, I've got some, I forgot the crackers. I'm going to eat even better today. I've just realized I forgot my crackers for my mid-morning snack. Anyway, normally I have my 6 crackers that I allow myself, and some cream cheese and cucumber. That's what I have for my morning snack. Then I have a salad for lunch. And fruit. I'm sorry, I've got a truck in front of me, a low bed. Don't know what you call a low bed in the States. It's a low truck on which you load things like tractors or cars or whatever. Anyway, and it's doing about 30 American, 30 miles an hour, and about 60 Canadian. It's driving me. That should not be allowed. The only good news is that this road becomes a 2-lane any minute now, and hopefully he'll have the decency to move over. Yes, thank you, God. Okay, now I can get on with my journey. It helps if you're patient. Where was I? I really can't remember. That's quite funny. I think I was talking about trying, if you're overwhelmed, to do things just a little bit at a time and do as much as you can in that time and then move on to the next thing. Because that's the only way you're actually going to get any achievement. The problem with overwhelm is that you end up feeling so overwhelmed by it that you end up not doing it, and then you get even more overwhelmed, as I did with not doing the accounts. I knew I was late doing them, and that set up a negative guilt thing, and then I definitely didn't want to do it because I was scared to see how bad the accounts were. Do you know what I mean? It's really quite understandable if you look at it logically. And the joke was, when I actually sat down and did it, it took me about half an hour. Done. So, and that is also the truth, isn't it? That's quite often the job that we want to do takes less time than we think it does, if we actually concentrate. It's like I really like the pattern that I've got about doing the renovations now. Every weekend I take a 4-hour period and I just do renovations for 4 hours. That and my budget. If I haven't got the budget to do the next bit, then I have to wait. But if I have, then I can go and get the stuff that I need to do the next thing and move on with it, which is quite exciting. Now I was looking into whether you can grout these stainless steel tiles, and the answer is yes, apparently you can. You just have to make sure you don't have grout with sand in it. Obviously that will scratch them. So that's interesting. So I'm now going to find myself a grout colour. I would think a dark charcoal would look really good, because you won't see much of it. So it'd be more like filling in the bevel of the tiles. So that'll be good. I think I'm going to get my contractor to give me a price to put the granite on my kitchen as it is. You know, I've always not wanted to do that because I know that's not the final plan for my kitchen. But unfortunately I ran out of money, so I couldn't finish it. These things happen. So the other thing is, maybe I should also cost out what it would cost to do a really nice regular countertop that looks like granite as a holding pen. I think enough people wrote to me about doing the stainless steel that I got the idea that maybe I should not be doing it in the tiles. I still really, there's part of me that goes, it would look so unusual. It would really have impact. So it's difficult. I still haven't finally made up my mind. I think I'm going to look at the cost of it and see what I come up with. The other thing is this, it's my kitchen, right? So if I want to do stainless steel, I can. And if the next person, whoever it is that buys my house, doesn't want stainless steel tiles, they can take them up, put the granite down if they've got the money. Yeah, that too. So other than that, not much going on today. It's quite a quiet day. I feel really good about the day, obviously, because I'm driving to work really early for me. And I'm hoping that you guys are having a good time as well. It's really interesting to me just how far we've come. And I've got to say that because it's so easy just to say, oh, we got to 100,000 views. And, oh, isn't that nice? No, it's like miraculous, really, when you think about it. And I want to just revisit that quickly because I want you to understand that this is what goals are all about. You know, if you don't have a goal, you're not going to achieve it. And so I really work very hard at planning the goal. In other words, every month I have projections that I update. I wonder if that makes sense to everybody. I have spreadsheets, you know, with graphs and everything else. And what I want to do is just every month I update it. And I work out the average increase, update everything to see what's realistic. Not just what the goal is, because I have that obviously set down, but also what my reality is. Because there are two different things. One is the goal as I set it. Now, as it so happens, I totally underestimated the power of YouTube when I set my original goals. So now my second thing is my reality. graph and against the goal. And when I look at that, I have a sort of projection going up, and that's the one that I work out. What's the average that we've been doing over this many months? And each month it changes, you understand. Some months are better than others, and some months are worse than others. And so each time I recalculate the average and then project forward another quarter of a year. And there is a magic combination that I found, and one is to be patient. It's so easy to want this like yesterday. And funny enough, I was listening this morning to Oprah on CNN, and she was talking about starting her TV channel, and how everybody expected, just because it was Oprah's channel, it would instantly be a huge success. And she said she knew that it would take 5 years to get it established, and how hard she has had to work to do that. And I totally understand that reality. I think everybody wants to sort of have these instant gratifications, and really, if there's anything that I've learned in life, if anything's worth doing, it's likely to take a time to do it, unless you've got enough money to throw behind it and buy your way to wherever it is you want to go. But if you're actually going to work your way to where you have to go, it can take a little bit longer. And so patience is a really important part of goal setting. And yet that needs to be balanced with, okay, fine, I've got to here, now I think actually it was something that Oprah said this morning that I really resonated with, and that is, what's the next best step forward? What's the next best step? Because what you find out is, when you first start putting up videos, for example, gosh, it's just like, wow. And then as you know, I've always done surveys to try and find out what people want. Well, it's really interesting to see that really hasn't changed. It hasn't changed after 4 months to today. So I know what you as the viewer want from me. I've now found out that you prefer the longer videos than the shorter ones. But each time you have to look at it and say, okay, what's the next best step? And sometimes it's a change of direction. And sometimes it's about, okay, I want to get some different videos going. And then you have to temper that with what's real. How are you doing in terms of your time? So it's really quite a process. So I ask you to look at your goals, wherever your goals are, and say, did you quit just because it was taking too long? Or did you really intend to achieve the goal? Did you keep saying, regardless of how well or not so well I've done, what is the next best step I can take towards my goal? And I really challenge you to think back on goals that you've given up on. And say to yourself, okay, fine, let me pick this up and run again. And as you've heard me say, probably if you've been watching a long time, your speed is the right speed. There are always going to be people that can do it faster and more flamboyantly or whatever. But your speed is the right speed. And you just need to keep doing the best you can. It's really a good idea as well to have a group of people who will support you in that, in whatever it is that you're trying to achieve quietly. I think some of you know that I have a group of people around me, and some of them are technical people, and some of them are just cheerleaders, as I call them, who really are seem to genuinely care how I'm doing with the channel. And there are others that really, you know, very polite about it and smile sweetly and say, well, that's good, you know, but really don't give a damn. And that's okay. I understand that. But there are others that really go, wow, how on earth did you do that? You know, and it's a whole different sort of mentality. So it's really important to have a couple of people that you can have as your cheerleaders and a couple of people who you can sort of bounce off. And the reason that I say that is because it saves you so much time. I have a friend of mine, for example, yesterday, who had a technical problem to do with YouTube. And this person is not a YouTuber, but they do have one video up that is up there for a really good reason. And they were having an issue with it. And I said, let me ask my guru to see if my guru has the answer to this. And I just literally sent a quick note off to my friend Alex in Toronto, which is where he is at the moment, and said, you know, could you have a look at this and give me your brain power on why this is happening. And bless his heart, you know, he was back in a matter of an hour giving us feedback and input. Didn't necessarily give us the answer because there was no answer. I think the situation is such that it can't be fixed, but at least we had better understanding of the problem and why it can't be fixed. I've got to work. This is Dear Mama Sal saying thanks for watching. Bye for now.